Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a tactics talk, my friends. How's everybody doing on this fine Tuesday morning? At least I hope it's a fine Tuesday morning, and you have a good rest of your Tuesday. That's my hope for you guys. That is my hope for you. Let's check in with Chuck. We got Chuck today. He's back in the Chuckacore, and we are on a map that's not really well known for spotting. I have a nice little work-a-day 5.5 thousand spotting with about 500 damage actually chucked on there. But I wanted to talk a couple things about scouting on the maps that aren't great for scouting like this one. Now, there are some possibilities in the north, and there are some possibilities in the middle. Fairly recently, I've showed a couple videos of guys getting into the middle and doing some really big work. You get into the square or the middle area right here at about, what is it, F5 or so. And if you can sneak in one of those bushes, you can do some good work. But what I want you to key in on this one a little bit is how many light tanks are in this game. There's 3 on each side, and there's 2 Manticores and a 100 LT on my side, and there's a 13105 and 2 Manticores on the other side. That is going to make your job really difficult, because while it might be that if there's 1 scout on each side, you could sneak into one of those bushes and maybe there isn't a counter to the middle. With 3, there's probably most likely going to be somebody go in there. So I'm actually going to try to do this anyway. I'll show you how that goes for me, and then I'll give you some follow-on things to think about with a scout on the Paris map. I am set up with a Bounty low noise exhaust. I have my Bond optics, and I'm running a CVS. Remember, the CVS doesn't have any special types of equipment, so if you're going to run a CVS, it's the standard one. And I don't actually know, I don't think there actually is a Bond LNES at this point either. So really, for a scout setup, this is about as good as it gets right here. I am running a camo directive. I do have the option to switch over to an optics directive on this particular setup, but I leave it with the camo, thinking that I want a little more camo against the other scouts. All right, so we're getting down to starting this thing. We've spawned over on the west side, and I'm going to make a run straight for the middle. There are 2 ways to do it. I can come down this road, or I can come down the road to the north. I chose this one simply because I was spawned on that side of the spawn point. If I was over on the left side of it, or north side of it, I probably would have gone the other way right there. What I'm kind of hoping, and it will be an opening, is that I can sneak up behind anything, or behind these bushes that are right up here in front of me. Let's go ahead and get a little bit further along. I'll show you exactly what I mean. Now, they're not very wide, and as we get to here, you'll see that there are a number of bushes that we're looking at right here in the square or central park, whatever you want to call it, by the statue. So this group of bushes here, these are really the nicest. If you can sneak into these right here, the ones to the right, holy cow, you can really just light stuff up for days. These are good. These are even better. But more than likely, I'm expecting somebody in here to counter me, and then I've got to go ahead and bail out of this thing. But I'll keep headed for these bushes as if I can get in them, and maybe I can just shield myself enough to sneak. And no. All right, so I've got to bail out immediately. The Manticore is right there, one of the other 2 Manticores. So I'm just going to carve left, and I'm going to go right down this road to my left here. Take a shot at him. He misses, I miss, and I'm just hoping I don't get shredded. Okay. Now, you might go, well, that's a horrible idea, Guido. You're a sure kill right here by these guys. Not necessarily, although I did take a hit from the 15-16, and he took a hit as well. That happens fast enough that there aren't too many tanks in position to take a huge advantage of it. But that being said, fairly high risk, and at that point, somewhat low reward. You can see that our 100 LT took a different choice, and that's actually another one we can talk about. This is not a bad plan either. You can knock these bushes down, get yourself a little bit closer with that nice camo the 100 LT has, and kind of catch them crossing and maybe give these guys, the Fochby and the 50-51, some options. But I'm going to bail out of this. We end up with just a little bit of spotting at 214. So now what? That's kind of the question. I'm going to show you a place that you can try to go to initially, but it can also be very dangerous. I showed you the counter scout. One thing I did accomplish there is I did not let the Manticore get into those spots. Now, whether he was headed for where he is now or he was going for the central bush, I don't know. It's not as good coming from the other side to get to the central bush area, but it can be somewhat useful. I think probably based on the way he ran, he was planning on going up there and getting to that point. The problem with where he is, or going to that same central point right here at about E5 from our side, is there's just no place to hide. You're going to be seen almost every time you poke. And although the Manticore is nicely low slung and is difficult to hit in that situation, you have pixels showing almost at all times. So that's kind of the second scout area to go to. The third one is about where the Udez is. That's not a bad spot as well. And the fourth one is this north spot at about A56. And that is where I'm going to head right now. Now, what do I know? Well, I know that the one Manticore is there. And I just saw the 1305 lit over there on their central bush. That leaves only the other Manticore to deal with. So we'll head over this way. And I'm going to go all the way left. The reason I'm going so wide right here is I don't want to be spotted by their Manticore, if at all possible. So we'll sneak around here. And let's talk about this spot. What's dangerous about this? Well, their second Manticore could be sitting right here. So if he was already around this corner, or maybe peeking around, or even in a bush over here somewhere, bit of a dangerous move. So really, all of the scouting spots on this are dangerous, minus, at least initially, minus where the Udez 1516 is on the hill, or the other side's corollary on that hill, or where the 100 LT was, just sort of a little bit forward, but not getting overextended. There's one kind of sneaky place way down here in the south where you can knock a tree down. I've showed that video a couple times. I chose not to go there. It's more of a medium spot, but light tanks can do it as well. So we're going to come in here and see if we can see this guy. Bit of a bummer because you've got all these concrete barriers in the way. So now we see the 50-100 making a runner, getting lights there. I'm going to back out, and then what I liked about what he did right there, instead of cutting left where he would have had a nice line of sight, he actually went right. So what I'm doing is I'm using these bushes as best I can to sneak up behind this guy. And then I get all kinds of nice lights. And this is beautiful. So now I'm in a decent scouting spot right here. I've got their JPZ, which is being very foolish, driving around there. I'm going to auto spot nearly anything that comes up in this bush right here. And then I can actually reach back into the back and start spotting things like the 55, 58, and people who are moving around back there. So shots just start coming in. Now I'm not going to shoot. Pretty standard for a scout, especially early in the game like this with all these guns. And I don't know where the other Manticore is either. So I know there's one in the middle. And I kind of figure he's over here somewhere in one of these bushes or hiding out in the back somewhere. Let's talk about knowing where the bad guys are just for a moment. Say you're that 50-51 and you went over there and you got spotted. You have to know something is here in the middle. And your best guess would be a Manticore has snuck into the very bush that I am in right here. This has me a little bit worried. So I actually back out because if he YOLOs, I'm going to bail out of here. Okay, there's their one Manticore. I'm grabbing some assist right here. Already is shooting the 50-50 dash. All right, see that shot come in? He knows, right? So now I've got to adjust what I'm doing just a little bit. I can sneak down, get out of the way of the shots, let him shoot a couple times. And as long as he doesn't hit me and he hits the ground and he sees the explosion on the ground, that's to my advantage because then he's not hitting me and he doesn't have the confirmation that I'm there. Now, he pretty much figures it. But if one of those shots goes in and hits me, then he definitely has confirmation. And see, now I get hit. Now he's got confirmation. Look at all those shots going in there. So I'll just kind of come up here. So he shot everything. And the good news is that I get a few more out of him. The problem with what he did there is he was spotted. And as he shoots, his camo decreases even more. So I keep him spotted. And that's going to help me out. So now I don't know really, all right, what do they know? I know that guy knew I was there, and I'm very tempted to shoot this, but we're just going to wait because he's tracked. I'm kind of getting set up such that if he gets down to a one shot and it looks like his tracks get fixed, I'm going to shoot him. I'm like, come on, somebody just killed this guy before he... There we go, perfect. So notice I was watching that. I could see the tracks were damaged and they were hanging off because of the highlight of it. And I was hoping somebody would kill him and I didn't have to take the shot and kill him. But I really do want to close out a 268-4/4, and I will take a chance in that case. I'm also looking at the map. There's their other Manticore, by the way, all the way down in the south. I suspect he was trying to use that tree I was talking about back there. Hugely to my advantage that he wasn't out here countering me. Absolutely hugely. Their 13105 was in the trees, and I'm out spotting him and out camoing him. Their Manticore went to the middle. Now he's kind of moved out. Their other one went down here. So I really didn't have a corollary or a counter to what I'm doing right here from their team. The only guy who sort of figured it out, at least from what I can tell right now, is the 5051. You don't know what kind of conversation or communication is going on the other team. The 5051 may be yelling about it or clicking or complaining to his team. Who knows? The 13105 is spotted. I'm thinking, can somebody please kill this guy? I actually went up and exposed myself because my intent was to kill him, and then the 100 LT is sensing the goodness and he heads on in there. So I'm going to head out to the back. The 100 LT's got their attention. I've still not been spotted. So we're just going to head over this way, and we find their artillery. Fantastic. We've got 5,400 assists. There's a little bit more. Get their Manticore dead. And it's just clean up on aisle 2 time right here. We'll put a nice little shot on that guy. First kind of damage we came up with. 155-58's doing a runner. See if we can get a nice little shot on this guy. There we go. There we go. Guido even allowed it to almost mostly, fully, sort of, kind of in all the way, so to speak. And we'll keep pushing. We've got 580, 5,554, and I don't think I get to any more of the damage because they're just getting wrapped up over there. The heavies are tearing them up. Don't quite have a highlight on that Manticore. Probably should have kept pressing. Keep on pushing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't get any shots. So I thought this was a good one. Not quite standard. The positions I took were probably not very surprising. You've seen people take them. It's difficult with light tanks on this particular map. All of those spots have various dangers with 3 medium or 3 light tanks on each side. It's very difficult to use them without being countered. I went to the middle. That didn't work. I really didn't think about going south because I don't have any good bushes down there like they do on the other side. Got pushed out of the middle, pressed back. The 100 LT was already working the road right here, so no reason to do that. Pushed into the field. Kind of noticed that they had the Manticore here, the 13105 sitting over here. And I thought, well, maybe I can get up here to the north and put a little pressure from the vision aspect up here. And thank goodness their Manticore was down here and didn't counter me in any way. Nice job on the 50-51 on the other team figuring it out and getting a shot in on me and almost forcing me out of that position right there. Ended up working out. So that's what Chuck is up to, figuring out different dynamic ways to make what are okay-ish light tanks. You know, this isn't quite just a city map. It does have some light tank capability, not amazing. And like I've said a couple times already, it is high risk, high reward a lot of times in the positions. But you can make a difference with your little light tank if you play this and think about, you know, where's everybody going? What are my possibilities? Where are some places I could go or things I might be able to try? So there you go. You guys have a great Tuesday. Let me know what you think down below of all of that mess. We will see ya.